Healthcare. So this is my triple Thursday, three for the day. Healthcare. In the healthcare conversations, um, one of the points missing in all of this is these healthcare records are managed privately by private corporations. I brought this up before, and that the Medicare and Medicaid database is the most comprehensive, thorough, in-depth medical information set that we have. Now, it's broken for many reasons, but the biggest one is keeping your medical history. Now, to over half of America, this isn't that big a deal because they've never gone outside of their county or their state for medical care, or maybe they have, they've traveled the next state over. But for those of us that have lived in 10 different states and visited them all, except Hawaii, um, my health records are lost across all of those states. Even if I was in the same state, my employer changed healthcare providers to save something, right? And in that, those records get lost. They don't all get transferred. The notes don't stay. Most of them, for most of us, are on paper somewhere back in history. Computers didn't come into this until, heavy until, I don't know, they've been around for a long time. So that lack of continuity in healthcare records means that if somebody lived near a hazardous site and moved away, the odds of them being part of any type of study is very slim. Even though you're looking for something that happens 10 years after exposure, to go back and get that 10-year record of who actually was there is something else. Was there a motel there where someone stayed for 6 months and maybe, I don't know, I'm supposing, and that's so much information that you couldn't do it. But somewhere between here and there is a need for a common repository with common information about America's health. Now, we have that with the CDC. We have that. These are all broken pieces. When you realize the strength of the puzzle of us, United States, capital U, capital S, in learning and using this knowledge for better, it's pretty invigorating. It's what's I'm here, you're here, so something works. So to get to health records, this has been used against us. This game still is. Okay, one of the games you hear is about using social security numbers. Well, guess what? You've got a credit card. That credit card knows more about you than your social security number does. So that's one of the things in security and numbers. And oh my, the stupid if you have a wallet with money in it, it might have a credit card, it might not. So these broken healthcare records are costing lives. And heavy industry, the corporations that are paying the healthcare providers to give you healthcare, may have some limits to what they can do and what they can look at and how much they can afford to look at. I know none of my healthcare providers, and there have been many, have ever accumulated my records into one place. This could matter for 10 different reasons, but right now it doesn't. But tomorrow it could, because of the places I've visited. And if other people visited those places and stayed and 10 years later become ill, we have the ability to make some predictions from that are very good. They're better than prophecies because they're pretty specific. But this is what we do. We look back to look forward. So these healthcare records, this is another part of a larger issue that people are fighting. These systems, these big systems, can break small systems. They replace them. You know, it's the big box replacing the little box thing. It's gentrification. But there needs to be continuity in a lot of things. In information, understanding information is probably the most important one to us. And yet here we are with one book supposedly guiding half of our what part of our decisions. So I see we can do better. I see other ways to spend money. Giving the Department of Defense all the research dollars is criminal. It is war pigs. Exactly, precisely. War pigs. The song, the comic book. Because the money is too great and the power is too great. And their belief is wealth somehow has deeper meaning than conversations. Well, I don't know if I stuck to my topic. And thinking back now, I'm trying to remember what the topic even was, because healthcare records are important. It's something I had touched. I had dozens of professionals working with me that touched healthcare records, both corporate healthcare records, because that industry is as large as the federal healthcare records. And I did a video a moment before about Exxon production research. You see, this data is health data. This data about pollution from chemical, biological, or nuclear weapons, and that's what these are. These are weapons. This finger is a weapon when pointed correctly. So there's the real world. That's where we are. I said NSA should be keeping our health records. The National Security Agency should have national health records. Or an appropriate federal department should have responsibility for how we work, just like doctors have responsibility for defining medicine and its applications, not politicians. Ah, well, third rant of the day. And again, this is a paper. This is a thesis. This is a college classroom conversation, not my fucking basement room eat lazy boy conversation. But this lazy boy is older than most of you, so peace. Spread it wide and far.